Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I forgot to put a title in the chat to start us off, but never mind. Now we are still doing our Sunday bit of fun and working on this slightly different project just for a laugh. And what we've done now is we have added a minimap. Da-da-da. Okay. And you can see that our little dude's going to chase us. Okay. But we're going to have to change the minimap to suit our needs. Okay. And the reason we're going to have to do that is because we want to be able to ignore certain things within the minimap. Okay? So with that being in mind, we're going to create a blueprint. And it's going to be BP underscore layout underscore top. Okay, and the reason we're doing this is because we want to ignore the top on our minimap. Okay, and we want to copy this and paste it. Okay. And compile that. And the interesting thing here is if we now go to here, right, and we delete this, and then we basically drag that in, compile it. Okay, and now what we can do is we can go to our minimap and we need to go to our player character because that has our scene component, and we can now tell it what to ignore. I believe we can do it here. Well, it appears it's not here. Okay, that's an interesting one. Now, I believe we can probably actually do something with this. But there's definitely in the screen capture where there should be right, hang on a second. There is definitely a minimap thing. Okay, it must be this. Okay, maybe it's not that at all. There is definitely something somewhere that allows us to ignore certain actors. Now, let's see, render target, ignore actors. Huh. Hey Andre Neves Sodri, how are you? Right, apparently we can do this, but it's not in here anywhere. Okay, it's if we do this, then we can set hidden actors. Right, and this would be make array. How are you, Andre, tonight? Right, so this is going to be hidden render actors. Okay, and actors. This project is I've got a student who wants to do a project, okay? And basically I advised him to stick to something he knows. So, what I'm doing is he gave me a look at a game which I've never seen or heard of, and I am basically making a version of it for myself so that I can help him when he actually makes it himself. Right, this is actually going to be an actor reference. Is it? Yep. Right, so this is going to be BP top, LO top. So we'll just say top, right, and compile that. And then well, it's kind of up to you, really. It's it's one or the other, however you feel about it, really. So this just isn't right. It should be right, but it isn't right. It's just whatever you're comfortable with, Andre. Right, so in theory, we should have a minimap without a ceiling, which we do. Right, so basically, oh, there's our monster, run away. And he didn't chase after us too well there. Right. So the question is, why is that not showing on the actual map? Let's have a look. We've got LO straight. It's not hidden in the game. So the question is, why is it not showing? Interesting. That's going to be static. Right, so why is this not showing up? It's got hidden in game for some reason. Right, there we go. right? But it's showing up in our minimap now. Now, I wonder if this is just individual ones. Now, I have got an idea how to do this slightly differently, right? But I would like this to work in the first instance, right? So, if I go to here, yeah, it helps if I plug it in, doesn't it? That would explain some of it. Except it's still not working. Right, we still have the roof. Now, I'm just wondering here if what I need to do is get all actors of class. And then this is going to be top. Right, and that's that. Yep. Okay, we can see that now in the minimap that our ceiling is no longer shown. Right, we'll just basically went back the same way. Right, I'm gonna have to stop that for now and basically restart it, because sometimes it goes a bit wonky. Right, so now we've got our mini-maps working much better. Right. Now, we can't really see our candles at the moment. Right? But that's okay. Right? Because we've got two ways that we're going to handle this. Right? And the way we're going to handle it is when we do our candle, what we're going to do is we are going to add a plane. Right? And we're going to zero it out. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drop it down a bit. Right? We're going to set it to -2. Okay. Now bear with me on this one, guys, bear with me. You'll see the logic of my madness in a second, right? Now, if we look at our map, we have got a big huge plane. So we're going to click on that big huge plane and we're going to set it to -5. Okay, now from the point of the minimap, this is going to make zero difference because the minimap is it's not a perception view, perspective view. It's an orthographic view, right? So there's no distance shown, right? And then what we're going to do is just like we did the top, we're now going to do the floor. Okay? So we're going to say BP layout floor. Okay, then we're going to go to here again, we're going to click on the floor, we're going to copy it, right, then we're going to delete it, then we're going to go here, and then we're going to paste it, we're going to compile it, we're going to go back to our straight, then we're going to drag it in. Okay? And this is where the magic's going to happen. Because if I compile that, right, and then we go back to our player character, right? Basically, what we can do is we can do this again. We can duplicate this. We can say floor. Right? We can delete this. Then we can grab this and append. Wait a minute. We can get this and append it with this. Right? And now what this should give us, in theory, is a problem, obviously. Let's have a look at that. Did I? Yep, I blew it. Right, so, hey Chaser, Rooney, how you doing? Right, so we'll try this again. And you little beauty, now we have the marks for the candle, right? Now they should disappear, and I don't know why they aren't. But we do have our breadcrumbs. Okay, now when we pick up our candles, it should remove that plane as well. Excuse me. Ah, right, the candle itself is not a blueprint. The pickup is not a blueprint, I don't think. Although it says it is. Ah, it's because I've added the plane, right? What I actually want to do is, I want to go to the blueprint pickup, right? And basically, in the candle, we want to add our plane here, right? So if we go to the viewport, right, so what we can do is we can make this 0.5 by 0.5, right? And then remember that we set it to -2. Okay? And actually I don't think that's going to be enough, because I think the candle is at 50. So the plane is going to have to be at -52. Okay? So if we compile that and now run it, alright, there's weird things going on there, that's for sure. Yeah, that went a bit wild. Right, and you can see the dots now and they're disappearing. So there you go, we've got our minimap. That's going absolutely swimmingly. So you can see that it needs a bit of time to update shaders or something, because it's not smooth at the moment. But it is actually working. Now, what we could do is we could create a material for this, right? So I'm not too sure where this candle actually is. I'm going to guess it's in blueprints. Yeah, it's in the pickup here. Right, so we've got that open, and I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll create a new folder, and we'll call this pickups, because there's probably going to be more than one. This is just your standard, right? Yeah, go for it. Right. So what we'll do is now we shall create another folder. We'll call that candles. Right. And then we'll create a material. Matte candles. Right, now the really cool part about this is I can add a vector. Doesn't actually need to be a parameter, but we'll just call it color anyway. Right, so if we need to change this into an instance, we can. Then we're going to get a texture sample. Texture sample. Right, and we're actually going to use our minimap because it's round. Right, and we can do that, and then that's going to give us our opacity. We can click on that and then make these whatever color we want. Okay. Hey Shikama, how you doing? Then if we go back in here, we go to our plane, and then we say candle. And save it. Is it going to do it, or do I need to actually do the old? Do I need to multiply these? That's black still. Right. Okay, that. Save that. All right, there you go. And now, in theory, our minimap should show red things. Right, there is still weird stuff going on here. Notice how everything has disappeared. The pickups have disappeared. I'm guessing that's maybe because of the references thing. Right? Even though they come back for some reason. And there you go, they're back. Right? Now, the difference here are that these aren't big enough, right? And they aren't red, even though they should be red. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to go to this material again. Right, we're going to go to here. And we're going to see that. Now, I'm just wondering if this is one of these things where you need to set it to use it in a render target. More target. OR. Right. Beam trails. Right, we'll see that. Even though that's not a skeletal mesh. Interesting. Right. I'm going to have a look at a render target just to find out what that material is doing. Yeah, it's just doing the same thing. Right, so we're okay with that. So this material should actually be okay. I'm just wondering if this is an Unreal Engine 5 thing. Interesting. Right, what I'm going to do is we're going to see right, in theory our plane should not be under the ground. Okay, so it is under the ground, which is not exactly what we want. So that's weird. Right. So yeah, it's got it there. Right. So it looks like it was because it's too far away. And our plane also has collision set. Right. So this plane okay, so that doesn't do it. Right, minus 15 does it. Right, but I'm going to go and say that it shouldn't be minus 15, it should be minus 12. Okay, maybe not. Okay, then if we save this and press play, and now it's not big enough again. Right, let's try something. If we make this plane, we'll bring it back up in scale. And that's going to be static. Right, this is a weird one, but we're just working out what's actually working and what's not. And that's bizarre. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this plane down again. Wow. Right, I'm thinking it's something to do with that. Right, there we go. Right, okay, so it was the plane was interfering with that particular mesh. And we can probably now pop these down to like 0.25. compile that and save it. Right. And now we have our minimap with cool right, and as you can see, that won't work, but that's okay. Right, and now what we can do is we can update all of our dungeon layout assets, right, with basically the floor and the top. Right, so if we go here and we delete the floor, then we go into the viewport, right, and then we drop in the floor, then we delete the top, and then we drop in the top. Right, we can compile that and save it, and then for the starter one we can open that, right, we can delete that, and then we can drop in the top, and then we can get the floor and drop in the floor, save that, and that was the end. And now we can do the left, so we just pick up the viewport, then basically we delete that and we drop in the top, right, and then we delete the floor and we drop in the floor, compile that, and that was the left. So we've done the left, we've done the end, we've done the T, and we've done straight, and the only one left to do is the one with the door. So if we go viewport, we delete that, right, then we drop in the top, then we get the floor, delete that, we drop in the floor, we save that, come down, press play, and that's not quite done the right thing yet. Right, so we've got a problem here with something. And I'm going to be back in a second. Okay, I forgot to turn back on the mic. Like a right idiot. Hi Marcus, how you doing? Marcus Games. I was just explaining there that I'm just doing like a little side project here to show some students how to do something, or if they want to make this type of game, then I'm basically making it for them so that I can refer to things. And right, so this top, it's not hidden in the game. Right? So that is really weird. Now, alright, I'll tell you what we'll do, right? We want to get these errors sorted out, right? And as you can see, the T-junction is not doing our top. Right? We have our bad guy, and here he comes. Right? We have our left corner isn't doing its thing. The door is not doing its thing. Right? So everything other than the straights are not working. For whatever reason, I do not know. Right? This top is not hidden in game, and I'm going to set that, make sure it's static, and the floor, it's static. Well, we have to open it. It's not static. Right, so we're going to set that to static, and that might be the problem. Right, and we're going to make sure it's not hidden in game. Right. But again, if we look, every single piece isn't right. Right, now, what I think it is, right, okay, I'm going to guess at this, but what I'm going to say is, I need to bring it in. Right, basically I need to bring in all the parts. Now, we'll test this theory in a second. Right, when we do this, and there we go. Right, and now if we save all and we press play, there we go. We've got our, I've got it the wrong way around, of course, like a complete idiot, but we know the problem. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this scale to 100. Right, so I'm going to delete this, right? And then I'm going to change this scale to 100. Then we're going to bring in our corner. It's set to 0, which is fine. Then it's set to the correct direction, which is fine. And you'll notice that it's much easier to put into place, right? So what we can do is basically delete all the parts that we need to replace. Right? And as you can see, we can do this pretty quick, right? And then we can put them back in. Right, like this one, we can just duplicate it. Then we can basically spin it around. Then shove it into place. Right? And we can basically duplicate that. Then we can duplicate that. Now this one's going to need to turn. So it's going to be that way. I don't need to be super obsessed by this because it's not a finished level, it's just a sort of muckabout level. How are you doing tonight, Marcus Games? What are you working on? Right, this is going to go this way. On this project, since Friday night at about 11 o'clock-ish. This is just a palette cleanser, right? This is just to get me back in the mood. And that's not right because that should actually be like that. It's basically for a student, right, that I'm teaching. And he wanted to make a game similar to what this is, right? So basically, to help him out and be ready for any questions or any problems, I decided the best way to do that would be to create the game myself. Right? And so that's what I'm doing, basically. And if you know the game, it's called Dark Descent, which I had never heard of before. But he was quite keen on doing something that was similar, so basically I've recreated it in 2 days. Or a lot of the functionality anyway. So yeah, there's that. We're just working on the minimap and the way to implement the minimap. And then I got these errors because I've been changing the main parts of this, of the dungeon or the mansion itself. So we're kind of working on that at the moment. Is that the door? No, looks like the door's on the other side. Yep, there it's there. And then we bang it over to there, over to there. Now I've made all these pieces up so that it's easy for me. Right, I don't know what happened there. So undo, undo. Right, so that goes there. Is that right? No, that's needing to get turned around. Or is it? Let's look here. No, it was right in the first place. Right, so that can go in there. Right. So, oops. We can duplicate that. Yeah, the game that he was asking about was Dark Descent, right? So this is like I'm just copying the mechanics of it from what I can gather. And just bringing them into the game. Obviously I'm doing it my own way, which is basically just make the whole thing myself. Right, so tonight I've created the minimap, and we've been updating the parts of the dungeon to accommodate that. Right, so if we press play now, you'll notice we've got our things here. And it's still kind of not working. Wow. What's going on with that? Right. It's not static. Pick up. Okay. Okay. Whatever. So something in here that's not static that should be static. Right. Well, that's not right. Right, if I set that to movable. Right, and then we stop it again. Right, we're still getting all these errors, right? So it's left, straight door. There's something different about top floor is not static. Okay. Right, I'm with you on that one, so let's have a look. It is static. What's it talking about? Oh, it can't be anything to do with that. Right? So there must be something regarding. Now the straight works, right? So the pickup is movable. Right? According to this, light and right is static. Only the lighting is static. Okay, so we're going to kill our point light, right? Movable, 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 pickup, movable. Everything's movable. Right. So this is weird. Movable, movable. We'll delete that. Movable. Right, everything was fine with that. So hang on a second here. That's straight, okay? And the default scene route is static. Okay. Movable. Everything else is movable. Right. So that's exactly the same. Let's have a look at this. That should be static, according to the way we've been doing things. And the way that the other one is set up. Right. Then this one. Movable, movable, movable. Right. Still not right. Right, so that seems to be something to do with the floor. Right? It's a floor, it's a floor. Right. Now we've only got 3 errors now. And what's it to do with? It's the floor, top, lighting. I'm thinking that's the door. Right. So what I'm thinking here is the best way to fix this is basically to remove these and add them back in one by one. Right. And see where the errors are. You always have problems with this, by the way. This is nothing to get excited about, right? There's always hiccups along the way whenever you're doing development. So, as I said, it's nothing to get all excited about. And I'm literally tempted to basically right, so yeah, I'm basically tempted to delete the whole thing and start again. Right, so I don't mean delete the whole program, I mean just the level. Right, so if we do that, right, then we save it, save all, and press play. Right, so that's not working, right? So it looks like our floor and top are absolutely knackered, right? Now, there's an interesting one, we're still getting an error, right? We're still getting an error, and there's no oh yeah, there is. Oh no, there's not. We're still getting an error. Right, but we have no weird sections. These are all the straight sections. Oh yeah, we've got this one. That's what's causing the problem, right? Right, so what we'll do, right, is we're going to delete that, right? Then we're going to delete the floor, and we're going to delete the lighting. Okay? We'll compile that. And this is the T-junction here. So we'll drag it in. We'll zip it around. Right, and then we'll get it into place. and we'll see what errors we get. Okay. Right, so that's okay. Right, we'll stop this now. And we get no errors. Okay? So, what we'll do is we'll add and it's not going to give us our thing here, so we'll drop it in and then we'll drag it onto our default scene route. Okay, now that's interesting. Well, it's not, because this should be reset to 0. Right, so we'll compile that and then we'll run it again. Right, and it's not appearing. And we're getting an error. Right, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think this is sealing long cove. Okay? I think we need to add a static mesh. Right? And we'll call it sealing. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to copy that and then we're going to paste it here. Right? And then that is 90. Okay, we're going to check this and it's 4 by 2 by 1. So we say 4 by 2 by 1, and this is OS sealing long cover, right? Long cover. Then we take that and delete it. We compile it. Okay. Then we take a look at this and go back to this and we make sure that this is not hidden or anything. Or anything weird like that. Right, it's not hidden in game. I think it's the way I cut and pasted those things in. Except it's not, obviously. Right, we may still have to delete this and then reintroduce it. Because we've done some major surgery. Right, so this now is how it should be. Right, and if it's not, then I'm kind of struggling for an answer to why it's doing it. Right, so we'll save that. We'll press play. and we still have no. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something crazy. Right, under there. Right, I think there's something really weird going on. So I'm going to say maps. And I am going to create a new level. I'm going to say empty open world. And then I'm going to save it. And then as per usual, we call it 1. And we do that. We press play. We stop it. And that's fine. And now we go to our layout and we drop this in. We save it. We press play. Then we stop it and we get an error. What in the heck? BP top is not static. Okay, whatever. Right, we'll make it not static. Right, is that going to work? It does. Right. So that gives us right, I'm guessing it's right, okay. We'll say yes to that. Yes to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, right? And then reopen it. Because I don't know what that other map's called, basically. Because I'm kind of foolish that way. But we'll work with level 1 once we've done this. Okay. Like that, just do its thing. Right, because this is basically going to load up the original map, because I haven't changed the project settings. So actually I could have went into the project settings and found out what map it was. Duh. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Right, there we go. So what I think is, if I come in here, well actually, if we come to here and make that movable, which is what we actually did, it's still giving us that error. Right, but we did change it. Now the thing is, we should just be able to drop this in and press play and then stop it, and it's giving us that error still. That's super weird. Is this because of the map or something? Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Edit. Project settings. Right, whatever. Project name is not called that. Right, maps and modes. Right, it's first person. And this is first person map. Okay. We're going to do that. Close that. And then we're going to go into maps and go to 1. Oh yeah, that's good. That was kind of awesome. Right. Alright, this is seriously weird. Right, hang on a second. What does this actually say here? It says unloaded. Why are you unloaded? Right, I'm guessing this is because of this world partition thing. Right, I don't know how this shit works, basically. I don't know what that means either. Right, so this is where we're running into problems. I don't want world partitioning or anything, I just want a blooming map. Right, if I say new level, basic, right, that's what I want. Don't want any other crap. Yeah, I want to replace it. Right. If I drag that in, press play, press stop, top is not static. Right, I'm losing my shit here. Right. Let's look at this one. No, let's not look at that one. Let's look at the one that actually works. Static. Top and floor are both movable. Right? That static. Top is movable, and we've not put the floor back in yet. But it still gives us an error. Just don't buy this. Okay, so we'll drag it in again. Oh, hang on a second. What is the roof doing away over there? That is bizarre. Right, we're going to delete that. Right, and we're just going to drag it in again. I'm beginning to think this is a weird what? I mean, what? And that's still not right. Okay, well, I hope you've watched me struggling with this error here, because I have no idea what's going on with it. I'm going to check this out, Marcus. I don't know what's going on here. I'll do a bit of searching tonight, but I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and if you've enjoyed it, hit the like, subscribe, and check out the description for Discord and ways to support the channel. And look at this, it's not even moving. It's utterly bizarre. Right, I'm guessing this is because I need to delete this and bring it back in again, but there's just weird things going on here. Right. Yeah, so good night, and I'll catch you all tomorrow at 2 p.m. and we're probably going to be back to Fabrica Espace, okay? Bye bye for now.